help end the stigma. On the news this afternoon, federal government to launch CNG initiative in rivers today. Minister of Power orders implementation of committee's report over national grid. Police investigate gang violence in Emoha over killing of vigilante official. Driver assaulted by federal lawmaker apologizes for provocation. On the foreign scene, China summons Philippine ambassador over new maritime. I'm Ife Chukwumoyele with the news. The federal government will launch the long-awaited compressed natural gas CNG initiative in Rivers State today. The launch is in collaboration with the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) in the state. Earlier, the presidency insisted that the CNG is a safer and more affordable alternative to petrol. It follows a report that the Malaysian government is planning to phase out natural gas-powered vehicles by July 2025. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanoga, in a post on X, said the Malaysian issue speaks more to the safety of LPG and not the safety of CNG. In another development, the national chairman of Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria, Petro One, Gillis Harris, says they have not been offered anything from Dangote Refinery. Speaking on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire, Mr. Gillis Harris said they are open to buying petrol from Dangote Refinery, but are still awaiting clarification and formal approval.
We have not been offered anything by Dangote as to what we should. Petron is willing to patronize Dangote. We have thousands and thousands of retail outlets who are willing to purchase all petroleum products from Dangote Refinery. However, business in this terrain is done by clarifications, applications, approvals, terms of reference, and all of that. And Petron has requested for that from Dangote Refinery. We haven't been obliged those information.
Mr. Gillis Harris said they have not started importing oil products, but they believe that importation will help them serve Nigerians better.
Importation is not the most and best option. But if we have to resort to that to make sure that we serve Nigerians, that will be welcomed by ourselves and even Nigerians. As it is today, the only way we are getting products is from NNPC and all NNPC affiliates. We have not started importing, but we believe that importation may help us better because we are negotiating for fairer and better prices. As opposed to when we did not have the opportunity to import.
Meanwhile, the South-South Zonal Coordinator of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, Uche Buchukwuma, has announced that the Commission has stopped the activities of unions that have been consistently raising prices. This is as Black Friday sales and the festive season approach. Speaking in an interview with correspondent Martha Okere, Mr. Chukwuma outlined measures the FCCPC is implementing to reduce the cost of goods and services. He also spoke on how the Commission is collaborating with the state government to address the issue of double taxation, which contributes to higher prices.
So what we are doing is to stop the activity of unions, which has constantly been increasing prices, and also meet individual businesses to let them know that it is unfair to gouge prices or fix prices. So in that way, we are trying the much we can to ensure that price of goods are reduced. We're also working with the security agency to form an alliance to stop certain activities. So we're also trying to work with the state government to ensure that such double taxation are minimized.
Mr. Chukwuma encouraged consumers to understand their rights and be aware of the legal protections available to them. He advised them to access FCCPC's resources, including visiting the website to download relevant laws that empower and protect consumers.
We should understand and know our rights. It is somebody who is knowledgeable of your rights that will be able to insist on the enforcement of those rights. And where those rights are not enforced, then it can come to us. So it's important that our consumers at least open their eyes and open their minds and be able to know what the law provides for them. Our laws are out there, and it is so robust for the protection of the consumer. Many people are not willing to read. So I still plead with our consumers, Nigerian consumers.
In the meantime, the federal government has appreciated the endurance of Nigerians following the side effect of economic reforms, which it said have started yielding results. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edu, said this during an interactive session with Senate Committee on Finance. Now, he said the problems from the reforms are over for Nigerians as positive indicators for better days are already emerging. In other news, the Minister for Power, Adebayo Adelabo, has ordered the Transition Company of Nigeria, TCN, and all other relevant agencies of the ministry to begin the immediate implementation of the recommendations of the Interagency Committee set up to address the incessant grid collapses in the power sector. This is as the TSN appealed for understanding among Nigerians on the possibilities of intermittent disruptions as repair work begins on the grid. The minister's order came as the transmission company reported that the national grid experienced a disturbance yesterday morning, which was caused by a sudden rise in frequency. Still to come, driver assaulted by federal lawmaker apologizes for provocation. Stay with us.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. Gang violence has erupted in Obele community in Emoha local government area of River State following the killing of a member of a local vigilante popularly known as Ospak. He was reportedly killed by suspected gang members in Umuwoke Mbume village, Obele, on Wednesday. An indigene of Obele who identified himself as Eze narrated how he and his brother were shot by some individuals believed to be working with one Chinano Elonu, popularly known as Naked, from Iba community. According to Eze, the attackers arrived at their compound on a motorcycle.
Me and my brothers, we see stand of bike for front of our house. Then me, I stand up. I say, I go check the people where I can't go check the people. Before I can't see naked boys with guns. I can't tell my brother, I say, make them run. As my brother, they run, they begin to shoot us. Now they shoot me gun. They shoot my brother, they shoot. We are like 4 in number. I never see one up to now. We they call for village now, whether they don't see my brother. They never see him up to now. Naked is from Eba. He send the security problem.
Another member of the community, Chigozie Nwoka, also accused Naked and his group of destroying his house last Sunday. Mr. Nwoka claims the attack was because of his stance against gang activities in the Obele community.
It was on Sunday, I was in Port Harcourt. They called me that he has gone with his Ospak.
We've been hearing series of
It was on Sunday, I was in Port Harcourt. They called me that he has gone with his Ospak boys. This young man, if he's caught out for profiling as an Ospak person, he will not come. He will just handpick some boys and take them to Ospak and not controlling them. He has gone to my house. They told me he scattered everywhere, put the house on fire. What is my crime? That I'm working with security agencies and I want them to come and chase him out of Obele. He has made Obele his camp. He will not go to Iba and stay. He's in Obele. Kidnapping, committing all sort of crime in Obele. And when this thing happens, the security agencies will not know who to hold because whenever they come, he will run into the bush.
Reacting to this, the acting youth chairman of Iba community, Acho Eberuho, who spoke on behalf of Chinano Elonu, denied the allegation but rather accused Chigozie Nwoka of sponsoring gang members to attack and kill Naked.
We've been hearing series of broadcasts that houses have been burnt down in Obele. People have been shot. Now, Naked is an Ospak. We Naked kill a fellow Ospak, but no house has been raised down. We will call on the entire public. Ohaneze Obele, even the Highness, the CDC of Eba, have gone to investigate if any house was burnt. The entire public can come and check in Obele. If Nanoelonu is a loving and peaceful fellow, he has done a lot. He is even working as a surveillance. He has stopped oil bunkering in Emoha local government.
Correspondent Emekotoka reports that the public relations officer of the River State Police Command, Grace Eringe Koko, when contacted, confirmed the killing of the OSPAC member and destruction of a house. SP Iringi Koko said the command has started an investigation into the matter. Moving on, findings by our correspondent show that Ikwere Local Government Secretariat is the only council in River State still shut down since the October 7th attacks across 4 local government areas. This is despite orders from Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetoku to reopen all 23 councils in River State. Recall that on Monday, council staff arriving to resume work were allegedly dispersed by the police. The command spokesperson Grace Iringi-Koko said the police were deployed to disperse hundreds of hoodlums who had forced their way into the premises. Speaking on this, human rights activist Charles Nkotaria expressed concern over the continued blockade at the Ikwere Council Secretariat. Mr. Nkotaria said the action of the police is disrupting business activities at the Council Secretariat.
The blockage of Ikwere local government area, it is really troubling. It is really concerning in the sense that it has truncated a lot of commercial and other economic activities within the local government area. It's affecting the healthcare service, affecting those that are supposed to access their local government identification and other local government services. We wonder why the police will still have that mindset of blocking that local government area. Yes, so we are believing that barricading the local government does not have any positive, impact on the local government or the area.
Mr. Nkotaria also called on the River State Commissioner of Police Mohammed Mustafa to withdraw officers from the area. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi says the arraignment and trial of minors who have committed crimes is not unconstitutional, as some have claimed. The AGF said this in Abuja at the commissioning of Law Corridor's new office complex and the presentation of a book on the modern Nigerian legal system. He said according to the Nigerian Constitution, trying to detain and bad governance protesters who are minors in the Federal High Court is not inappropriate, given the crimes with which they are charged. He, however, said President Bola Tinubu was compassionate to release the minors. Elsewhere, an e-hailing driver, Stephen Abuwateya, has apologized to the House of Representatives member representing Aba North South of Abia State in the National Assembly, Alex Ikweche, who assaulted him after an altercation occurred during a package delivery. In a video statement released to the press on Thursday, Mr. Abuwateya expressed regret for provoking Mr. Ikweche and asked Nigerians for forgiveness. He also urged everyone to move on from the incident. And now to business. A report says Nigerians' food insecurity will worsen by 2025 and may throw nothing less than 33 million Nigerians into hunger. The report by CADA Harmonize, led by the federal government and supported by partners including the United Nations World Food Programme, warned of deteriorating food security in Nigeria, with 33.1 million people projected to face high levels of food insecurity for June to August 2025. The analysis showed that 33.1 million people represent an increase of 7 million people compared to the same period last year. It said the rise in the projection was driven by current economic hardship, high inflation, climate change impacts, and persistent violence in the northeastern states. In entertainment, one half of the legendary P-Square, Paul Okoye, also known as Rude Boy, has claimed ownership of his brother Peter Okoye. Also known as Mr. P's new single, Winning, released today. Rude Boy claimed ownership of Winning while also uploading the demo version to back his claim in what is the latest chapter in their ongoing feud. And now to sports. Dutch and Israeli leaders have condemned attacks on Israelis in Amsterdam on Thursday night. The violence happened as Israeli football club Maccabi Tel Aviv was in Amsterdam for a Europa League match. Dutch police said at least 62 people were arrested and 5 people taken to the hospital.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
China today summoned the Philippines ambassador to express its objection to two new laws in the Southeast Asian nation asserting maritime rights and sovereignty over disputed areas of the South China Sea. It comes after Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. signed the Maritime Zones Act and the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act into law to strengthen his country's maritime claims and bolster its territorial integrity. Beijing's foreign minister said the maritime zone law illegally includes most of China's Huangyan Island and Nansha Islands and related maritime areas in the Philippines' maritime zones.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The federal government will launch its CNG initiative in River State today. The Minister of Power has ordered the implementation of the committee's report over collapse of the national grid. The police is investigating the gang violence in Emoha over the killing of a vigilante official. The driver assaulted by a federal lawmaker has apologized for the provocation. And on the foreign scene, China has summoned the Philippine ambassador over new maritime laws. The news is edited by Martha Okiri. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.